Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. This is Boris Johnson meeting the Queen. So Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, they partied. They went to a Christmas party, the Evening Standard Christmas party. So with Mick Jagger, Carrie, let's see, his girlfriend Carrie Simmons, Anna Friel, David Cameron, all kinds of famous people. And that's what it is to be a royal. So, there's this huge historic conservative victory. They won like 80 seats. They now have the conservatives under Boris Johnson have like an 80-seat victory. So they have a super majority. And that's a big deal. Are Beatrice and Eugenie, are they Boris supporters? Because Mick Jagger was there, and I actually think the Queen is a Boris supporter. She met several times, she met at least 2 times that I'm aware of with Boris, and her meetings with Boris indicate that she is endorsing him. She also met 2 times with President Trump, and she seems to be endorsing President Trump. Boris is the United Kingdom president. He's the United Kingdom Trump. Okay, the yellow shirts, they're throwing up images of Trump, and they're still protesting. The yellow shirts in France are still protesting. Wow. The Hong Kong protesters who are getting shot and murdered by the Chinese, and I don't know why. How come nobody says anything? Okay, they gave that prize, the Time Person of the Year, they gave it to Greta Thunberg, and the Hong Kong protesters, 96% of people voted for the Hong Kong protesters, only 2% voted for Greta Thunberg. They're afraid of the Chinese. The world is afraid of the Chinese, and that's wrong. Only Trump is not afraid of the Chinese. Okay, so Beatrice and Eugenie, are they Boris supporters? Because the Queen is, seems to be endorsing Boris. Her meeting with him is an endorsement. This is Beatrice, this is Eugenie. Or are they just there for the, the hors d'oeuvres? And that's kind of the royal life. Okay. Because Beatrice is marrying Ido Mosey Mapelli, and he's like he's very wealthy. He's a land guy. He's a real estate guy. He's Italian. So wealthier people tend to be more conservative. Why? Because they want to earn their own way. They're not, begging for handouts from other people. Beatrice and Eugenie are very wealthy, but they're, their money was not earned, it was given to them. So they can be very liberal like these Hollywood folks. Okay, so is she a Boris supporter? Very deeply rooted woman, heart. Her heart is deeply rooted for him. 12 and 7, 19, 5 clubs, decision. She does like Boris. She actually does like Boris. Does Eugenie like Boris? Magi, cornucopia, money, Hightower, officially, very official, money and everything. Magi, 22, 30, again, cornucopia. What a strange spread. Beatrice has some hearts in her spread. Eugenie has no hearts in her spread. She feels that he is best for the nation, Magi, manifesting overall, she feels that Boris is best for the nation. So, Beatrice, that makes sense. Beatrice is more heart. thinks more with her heart. Eugenie thinks more with her mind. These are very mind. She just feels that Boris is best for the country. He's setting the best course for the country. Underneath, we have Executioner and Water into Wine. Executioner is very powerful energy. Boris can really dramatically transform what is happening in England with Brexit and all the various crises. The NHS crisis, there's a crisis, because of the medical system, because anybody who can reach the shore of the United Kingdom is able to use the NHS, free medical care, okay, and they're completely overwhelmed, of course. And that's from taxpayers, and the people who are just coming to the shores, they're not paying any taxes, and they're using the services. So he's able to dramatically transform what is going on. Is the Brexit deal a done deal now? Because they have a supermajority. Okay, they have 80 extra Conservative seats. I also heard that the Brexit Party may have received no seats, which is crazy. I'm shocked. So is Brexit now a done deal because they have a supermajority, or is there still haggling to go on? Brexit a done deal? Boy, smooth sailing. Is Brexit a done deal? Mercury, hand in hand, Jacob's Ladder. Okay, Jacob's Ladder, step by step, rising to the top. Many people, Mercury is lightning fast. 11 and 9, 25 spades. Still obstacles to overcome, but Brexit is on the way. Brexit is going through. The way is absolutely cleared, even though it's been a long, hard slog to get to Brexit. And all these Remainers crying and, talking about climate change. Okay, so the Queen met 2 times with Boris recently. Did this help to propel Boris Johnson and the Conservatives to this historic victory? Because since 1935, the Conservatives, the other side has not lost so many seats. This is the most seats that the Conservatives have held in the UK since 1935. It's a very historic victory. Okay, and so I guess they're called Labour. There's Conservatives and Labour. Oh, I'm going to hear about that if I'm wrong. So, but it's definitely the Conservatives. So, did her meeting with Boris these several times help to endorse him and propel the Conservatives to victory? Was it the Queen's endorsement? Or is it just all the problems in the country? Was it the Queen's endorsement that helped, this? It appears that's an endorsement. That's not officially what she's doing. Okay, did the Queen help to propel Boris and the Conservatives to victory? Fox, very clever. Ruler, here's the King or the Queen, 25, 30, 8 diamonds, all things. Fence sitter on the fence. Wise decisions, reacting wisely to the King. So people do react to what the Queen is doing. Okay, they are reacting to her meeting with Boris. Crossroads, Mother Earth, 12 and 5, 17, fence sitter. We have 3 5s. This helped people to make up their mind. Okay, they were thinking about it. And it did kind of, those who were on the fence, it helped to change their mind. Decisions about the situation. But it's overall, the people of the UK live in the UK and it's their land, and they want to, and it's their culture, and they want to make the best decisions for the future for their children. And so this, her endorsements, her meeting with Boris, did help to push people in that direction, because the visual is an endorsement, and that's very important. And so when Trump meets with the Queen is endorsing Trump by meeting with him, and she's met with him twice at least. And when the Queen meets with Boris Johnson, the visual is an endorsement that she's supporting his policies, and they're working together. So, but it's not all the Queen. The people are a lot smarter than that. They're just looking at what's going on, but it did help sway the populace toward this victory. The Queen, meeting with Boris. What does the Queen think of Boris? Let's just ask, what does the Queen think of Boris? Because we know Mick Jagger is anti-Boris. He's anti-conservative. And he was quite vocal about it, but he was at that party. That's why I asked if they were, pro-conservative. What does the Queen think of Boris? Does she like him? Angel. Wow. Oh, my. What are the Queen's thoughts on Boris? Diamond ring, like a marriage, connected, a union, angel, and lovers. On the surface, she is very positive about Boris. 11 and 4, 15 is 4 clubs. Very solidly for Boris, and openly supports him. So yeah, she may be openly supporting Boris more than I realized. Okay, she seems to be very openly supporting Boris, and her meetings with Boris were, it seems, she intended to endorse him and to help him. And it did sway the UK people a little bit. Underneath, we have cross, the permanent situation, sun revealing all, and veil. 2 sevens. Sevens return endlessly. Exposing the permanent situation, exposing the hidden problems, 14, 15. Yeah, she feels that he's exposing the hidden problems, the festering problems in the UK that need to be dealt with, which I think that's absolutely true. I think some of the policies that are being enacted, without Brexit, are absolutely disastrous and will destroy England and will destroy Europe itself. Okay, are disastrous, and they're going to peel back some of these things, like the open borders. That's a disaster. That's an absolute disaster. And that's, people like to say hyperbolic statements about it, but it's a disaster for England. And it's a disaster for America if we keep the border open. Look at Venezuela. Okay, is that going well? The wealthiest state is now a third world country, and there's bubonic plague festering in the streets with rats and homeless population. I think 25% of all the homeless people are in California right now. And they're passing laws that people can just steal up to $1,000 worth of stuff, and the police won't even come. Oh boy, talk about a disaster. That is a disaster. That's a disaster. Were the British voters inspired by Trump? Okay, because they're always comparing Boris to Trump. Were the British voters inspired by Trump? Because we see pictures of Trump in Hong Kong. We see pictures of Trump in France with the yellow shirts. And what he's representing is, going back to basics and just freedom and nationalism. So were the British voters inspired by Trump? Because this is a very Amazing victory. But I've traveled in Europe, and overwhelmingly they always say, we like Americans, but we hate your policies. And all the time that I spent traveling in Europe, and I was there in the 2000s, and that's what people would always say to me. Oh, you're American. Oh, we love Americans, but we hate American politics. So that's what they would always say. So are the British voters inspired by Trump? This 5 spades is blocked. No. Blocked. This connection is blocked. It's more opportunistic. So not really. They'll deny it. If it's true, they'll deny it. It's much more complicated and far-seeing. Decisions, complicated and far-seeing about their world. 21. And no, they don't feel that they're inspired by Trump at all. If they are, on the surface, they will deny that it's related to Trump because they're going to say they're too sophisticated for that, even with their heavy Cockney accents. They're going to say that they're not inspired by Trump. They are really looking at long-term their world. The snake sees the furthest. They're looking at the problems in their country long-term and making decisions about it. So there are just huge problems brewing in all of the Western countries. Okay, and these virtue signaling crying idiots, I don't want to live in that world, and I think people are waking up, and they don't want to live in the world. We all don't want to live in California, what California has become. We don't want to live in, what Sweden has become and is becoming. We don't want to have parts of our countries that the native citizens simply can't go to, and police and firefighters won't even go there because it's so dangerous. So let's review. Is Beatrice and Eugenie, are they Boris supporters? Because there were people there, David Cameron, I'm not sure if he was conservative or not, but there, Mick Jagger was anti-Boris, but he's at that party looking suave and dapper and wearing his tennis shoes. Are they supporters? Yes, they're actually both supporters. Eugenie is really looking more at it like this is what's best for the country. Beatrice is thinking more with her heart. But they both like him, and they feel that he's going to make radical changes and transformations to the country that need to happen. Great. Okay, is the Brexit deal done? Yes, the way is now clear. They have a supermajority. There's no blockages here. The blockage is still showing up underneath. Okay, so it's been a long, hard slog, but that blockage is about to be really cleared. Okay, and transformation is coming. Okay, so what he's promising, he can deliver because he's got the supermajority. Okay, did the Queen help to propel Boris to this historic victory? The people are smarter than that, and they were really looking at the situation in the country. But it did help. It did help that the Queen seemed to be endorsing Boris by meeting with him several times prior to this election. What does the Queen think of Boris? She actually is a huge fan. She loves what he's doing, and she sees very big problems in the permanent structure, hidden in the permanent structure of England, and she thinks he's the guy who can fix these problems. And apparently so do the UK people. Okay, were the UK people inspired by Trump? No. And that's their nature. That's the nature of all the Europeans. They're going to not say that they love Trump. Okay, and I'm actually surprised that the yellow shirts are flashing up Trump signs and stuff, because that's just not how the Europeans are. And if you go over there, you'll know that. And maybe especially the French are like that. But they're showing Trump signs. So no, it's not about Trump. It's about the long-term problems in their country It's about the long. This is the best way. Opportunistically, this is the path, the best connection to solve those problems. So that's interesting. So anyway, congratulations to Boris Johnson and the UK people. Anyway, that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. There's other merch in the description from Teespring. Please ding the bell to get notified. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.